Listen and practice. Sarah slumped over her English textbook, a deep sigh escaping her lips. The words on the page blurred, her mind a tangled mess of grammar rules and unfamiliar vocabulary. She desperately wanted to improve, to speak fluently, but the path forward seemed shrouded. Every lesson felt like an uphill battle, especially speaking aloud in class. Her confidence was at an all-time low. "I don't want to make mistakes, but I always do," she thought. This crippling fear held her back from participating, from trying new phrases, and from truly engaging. She knew practice was key, yet the thought of mispronouncing a word or using incorrect tenses paralyzed her. It was a vicious cycle of anxiety and stagnation. One evening, watching an inspiring video online about language acquisition, a light bulb flickered. The speaker emphasized mistakes were not failures but stepping stones. How to learn English, they explained, wasn't about perfection, but consistent, fearless effort. Sarah realized her current approach was simply not working. A new strategy was urgently needed and she felt a spark. The first advice resonated deeply: listen and practice. It wasn't just about passively hearing English, but actively engaging. Sarah started listening to English podcasts and audiobooks during her commute, focusing on pronunciation and intonation. She then tried to mimic what she heard, even if it felt awkward at first. This new routine was a revelation for her English journey. Next, the video highlighted why reading is so important. Reading exposed her to diverse vocabulary, complex sentence structures, and various writing styles. Sarah began reading English novels, starting with simpler young adult fiction and gradually moving to more challenging texts. She kept a notebook to jot down unfamiliar words, looking them up later. Her comprehension steadily improved each day. Then came the terrifying but crucial step: start talking at home. The idea of speaking English alone in her room felt strange initially. She began narrating her daily activities to herself, describing objects around her apartment, and even having imaginary conversations. It felt silly, but it gradually built confidence in forming sentences without the pressure of an audience. This was vital. This was her way of learning English. She understood that consistent exposure and active production were key. Sarah committed to dedicating at least 30 minutes every day to these new practices. She used apps, online resources, and even watched English movies with subtitles, then without. Each small effort compounded, slowly chipping away at her initial fear and hesitation, building real fluency. How to talk in English became less of a daunting question and more of a practical challenge. Sarah sought out opportunities to use the language in real-life scenarios. She found an online language exchange partner, a native speaker learning her mother tongue. Their weekly video calls became invaluable for practicing conversational English in a supportive environment, reducing her anxiety considerably. She realized how to improve your listening skills was paramount for effective communication. Active listening meant not just hearing words, but understanding context, tone, and implied meanings. Sarah practiced by summarizing what she heard, asking clarifying questions, and paying close attention to nuances in different accents. This intentional focus deepened her overall comprehension abilities immensely over time. The old refrain, "I don't want make mistake but I always why," still echoed occasionally. Yet, each time she stumbled, Sarah reminded herself of the video's message: mistakes are learning opportunities. She started viewing them as feedback rather than failures. This mental shift was perhaps the most significant breakthrough, liberating her from perfectionism and self-doubt entirely. Her journey was becoming a living embodiment of how to learn English. It wasn't a linear path, but a spiral of repeated exposure, active engagement, and gradual improvement. She learned to embrace the struggle, understanding that discomfort was a sign of growth. Each day brought a tiny victory, a new word understood, a sentence spoken more smoothly, a conversation sustained with ease. The video had powerfully conveyed why you should practice speaking, emphasizing that active production solidifies knowledge. Sarah saw this firsthand. When she forced herself to articulate her thoughts in English, even haltingly, the language began to feel more natural, more a part of her. It transformed from an academic subject into a living, breathing tool for communication. Her home became a language laboratory, filled with sticky notes bearing English vocabulary. She labeled everyday objects, turning mundane tasks into learning opportunities. Even her phone's interface was switched to English, forcing constant interaction with the language. This immersive environment, cultivated intentionally, surrounded her with opportunities to engage and absorb. She truly began living the language every single day. Listening to various accents became a fascinating challenge. From British dramas to Australian podcasts, her ears grew attuned to the diverse sounds of English. This daily immersion in authentic spoken language significantly improved her ability to understand rapid speech. She could now follow complex narratives without getting lost, a huge leap from her initial struggles. Reading moved beyond textbooks into articles, blogs, and even English recipes. This variety broadened her vocabulary beyond academic terms, introducing her to colloquialisms and idiomatic expressions. The more she read, the more comfortable she became with different writing styles, enhancing her overall linguistic comprehension. It felt like unlocking new worlds of information. A subtle but powerful change occurred. Her internal monologue started shifting. Thoughts that once formed in her native tongue occasionally popped up in English. This involuntary shift was a clear sign that the language was integrating deeply into her cognitive processes. It felt like a natural progression, a testament to her persistent efforts, solidifying her commitment. Approaching social situations that required English still brought a slight tremor, but her proactive home practice provided a strong foundation. She found herself less hesitant to initiate conversations with English speakers she met casually. The fear of judgment began to recede, replaced by a genuine curiosity to connect and communicate effectively with others around her. She incorporated active recall into her learning routine. After listening to a podcast, she'd try to summarize its main points aloud. After reading a chapter, she'd attempt to explain the plot in her own English words. This active engagement cemented new vocabulary and grammatical structures, moving them from passive recognition to active production, greatly aiding retention. Grammar, once a source of immense frustration, began to make intuitive sense. Instead of memorizing isolated rules, she started noticing patterns in real English usage. Contextual learning, through extensive reading and listening, made the rules feel organic rather than rigid. This holistic approach transformed her understanding, making grammar less intimidating and more logical. Each small victory fueled her motivation. Successfully ordering coffee in English, understanding a joke in a sitcom, or effortlessly holding a short conversation, these moments, once daunting, now brought immense satisfaction. They were tangible proof that her dedication was yielding results, encouraging her to push further and embrace new challenges with enthusiasm. Pronunciation practice became a distinct focus. She used online tools to compare her speech to native speakers, diligently correcting her tongue and lip positions. Recording herself and playing it back allowed her to identify areas needing improvement. This focused effort ensured she was not only understood, but also sounded increasingly natural and confident. Expanding her vocabulary moved beyond basic word lists. She began studying collocations and phrasal verbs, understanding that words gain richer meaning when used in combination. Contextual learning from diverse sources like news articles and documentaries provided a deeper appreciation for nuance. Her expressive range in English was steadily growing, allowing more precise communication. She even started telling short stories to herself in English, crafting simple narratives about her day or imaginary scenarios. This creative outlet forced her to think more dynamically in the language, connecting ideas and developing a narrative flow. It was an entertaining way to practice sentence construction and coherence, making learning enjoyable and engaging. Feedback, once a source of dread, became a valuable tool. Her language exchange partner gently corrected her errors, and Sarah welcomed these insights. She understood that identifying weaknesses was the first step toward strengthening them. This open mindset transformed mistakes from embarrassing blunders into constructive lessons, accelerating her learning curve significantly. Building a routine was crucial for sustained progress. Whether it was 15 minutes of reading before bed or 20 minutes of listening during breakfast, consistency proved more powerful than sporadic long sessions. This disciplined approach transformed English learning from a chore into an integrated part of her daily life, making it sustainable and effective. The mental habit of translating from her native language slowly faded. Instead of forming a thought in her mother tongue and then converting it, she started thinking directly in English. This breakthrough significantly increased her fluency and reduced hesitations during conversations. It was a sign of true linguistic immersion and cognitive restructuring. She explored a myriad of learning resources, beyond just textbooks. YouTube channels dedicated to English learning, interactive apps, online quizzes, and even virtual reality language platforms became part of her arsenal. This varied approach kept her engaged and exposed her to different teaching methodologies, ensuring her learning never became monotonous or stale. Sarah also learned the importance of self-compassion. Some days were harder than others, filled with frustration or a feeling of stagnation. Instead of giving up, she practiced patience with herself, acknowledging that learning is a marathon, not a sprint. This kindness allowed her to bounce back from setbacks with renewed determination and optimism. Her listening comprehension skills continued to sharpen dramatically. She could now follow fast-paced discussions, differentiate between accents, and even pick up on subtle emotional cues conveyed through intonation. This profound improvement in understanding opened up new avenues for entertainment and information, making English a true window to the world. Speaking felt increasingly natural and fluid. The words flowed more easily, and she spent less time searching for the right vocabulary or grammatical structure. Conversations became less about constructing sentences and more about expressing ideas spontaneously. This newfound ease made interacting in English genuinely enjoyable, boosting her overall confidence immensely. The joy of expressing herself fully in English was immeasurable. No longer confined by a limited vocabulary or grammatical constraints, she could convey complex thoughts, share her opinions, and even crack jokes. This ability to communicate authentically was the ultimate reward for her tireless efforts, connecting her deeply with the language's power. Mistakes, once her greatest fear, now served as friendly guides. Each error pointed to an area needing more attention, a concept to review, or a pronunciation to refine. The emotional charge associated with them had dissipated entirely. She now saw them as essential components of the learning process, not as personal failures or embarrassments. Engaging with native speakers, once a terrifying prospect, became a source of genuine excitement. She actively sought out opportunities to converse, whether it was with tourists in her city or through online communities. These interactions were invaluable, providing real-time feedback and immersing her in authentic, dynamic conversations, refining her fluency further. Fluency, for Sarah, was no longer about sounding perfect, but about effective communication. It was about being able to connect, to understand, and to be understood without significant effort. This pragmatic definition freed her from unrealistic expectations and allowed her to celebrate every step of her journey, embracing the imperfections as part of the process. Her improved English skills had a ripple effect on other areas of her life. She could access a vast trove of English language content online, from academic papers to international news, expanding her knowledge base significantly. New career opportunities began to appear, requiring her newfound linguistic prowess. Her world felt bigger, more connected than ever. Learning English also deepened her appreciation for different cultures. Through the language, she explored diverse perspectives, literary traditions, and historical narratives from around the globe. This cross-cultural understanding enriched her personal life, broadening her empathy and challenging her preconceived notions, fostering a truly global mindset, which was deeply rewarding. Sarah unknowingly became a source of inspiration for her friends and family struggling with language learning. They saw her transformation, from hesitant beginner to confident speaker. She shared her strategies, emphasizing the importance of daily practice and overcoming fear. Her journey served as a powerful testament to the effectiveness of her adopted methods. There was a profound joy in effortless understanding. No longer did she strain to catch every word or rephrase sentences in her mind. English conversations flowed naturally, like water. This ease allowed her to focus on the content of discussions, truly engaging with ideas rather than wrestling with the language itself, a significant milestone. A deep sense of accomplishment settled within her. The journey had been challenging, filled with moments of doubt and frustration, but her persistence had paid off handsomely. She had transformed her relationship with English from one of struggle to one of mastery, proving to herself that consistent effort truly yields remarkable results and profound personal growth. Her future goals with English expanded far beyond basic communication. She dreamed of traveling extensively, studying abroad, and even working in an international environment. The language had become a key to unlocking these aspirations, no longer a barrier but a powerful enabler. The possibilities now seemed limitless, exciting and full of promise. Sarah understood that learning English was a continuous journey, not a destination. There would always be new vocabulary to learn, new idioms to master, and new accents to decipher. This lifelong learning perspective kept her engaged and curious, ensuring her skills would remain sharp and relevant in an ever-evolving global linguistic landscape. Crucially, she learned to enjoy the process itself. The thrill of discovering a new word, the satisfaction of a clear conversation, the joy of understanding a complex text, these small pleasures made the journey rewarding. Learning English ceased to be a chore and became a fulfilling hobby, a passion she eagerly pursued daily. Her newfound confidence in English permeated all aspects of her life. She walked taller, spoke clearer, and embraced challenges with greater courage. This linguistic empowerment extended beyond language, instilling a belief in her ability to achieve any goal she set her mind to. It was a profound transformation of self-perception and capability. She decided to share her story, hoping to inspire others. She created a small blog, detailing her struggles and triumphs, providing practical tips on how to start talking at home and why reading is so important. Her honest account resonated with many, proving that her journey was universal, a beacon of hope for aspiring language learners. The feedback from her readers was overwhelmingly positive. Many expressed similar fears about making mistakes and felt encouraged by her candidness. They found her emphasis on consistent practice and active engagement particularly helpful. It reinforced her belief that sharing experiences could truly make a difference, fostering a supportive learning community online. She often emphasized the why behind her efforts, a desire for connection, for knowledge, for global understanding. This intrinsic motivation was far more powerful than any external pressure. It kept her going through difficult phases, reminding her of the deeper purpose behind every word she learned and every sentence she spoke. Through her English learning journey, she forged unexpected friendships with people from diverse backgrounds. Her language exchange partners became genuine friends, sharing insights into their cultures and lives. These connections enriched her existence far beyond mere linguistic improvement, demonstrating the true power of communication to bridge divides and foster unity. Beyond language mastery, Sarah realized how much she had grown as a person. She became more disciplined, patient, and resilient. The challenges of learning a new language had forged new character strengths within her. It was a holistic transformation, where linguistic progress mirrored profound personal development, making her stronger and more capable. The joy of helping others on their English journey became a new passion. She offered advice, shared resources, and provided encouragement to those just starting. Witnessing their progress, however small, brought immense satisfaction. It was a way of giving back, of paying forward the inspiration that had initially set her on her own path. Looking back, Sarah barely recognized the hesitant, fearful girl who once dreaded English class. The transformation was profound. From the simple act of starting to listen and practice, to the courage of speaking at home, she had systematically dismantled every barrier. Her initial struggles now felt like a distant, almost forgotten memory. Her new approach, built on consistent application of listen and practice principles, felt incredibly clear and effective. No more aimless studying or passive absorption. Every action had a purpose: to improve listening, enhance reading comprehension, or build speaking confidence. This clarity made her learning efficient and consistently rewarding, leading to tangible results. Embracing a growth mindset was instrumental. Instead of believing her English ability was fixed, she embraced the idea that it could always improve with effort. This belief fueled her persistence, turning challenges into opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. It was a fundamental shift in perspective that empowered her daily progress. She learned to celebrate every milestone, big or small. From understanding a complex movie plot to successfully negotiating a travel plan entirely in English, each achievement was acknowledged. These celebrations reinforced positive habits and provided a sense of progress, sustaining her motivation through the long and rewarding journey of language acquisition. Sarah's English journey was far from over, but she now possessed the tools, the mindset, and the confidence to continue. She knew how to learn English, how to talk in English, and why you should practice speaking. Her life had been irrevocably changed for the better, opening up a world of endless possibilities, fueled by her vibrant voice. True mastery, she realized, wasn't about being perfect, but about continuous engagement and genuine connection. It was about using English to live a richer, more connected life. And as she spoke, listened, and read, Sarah knew she was not just learning a language, she was building a brighter future, one confident word at a time.